Hey there, welcome back to Tennille Talks. Y'all, I feel better, even if I don't sound better, okay? So forgive me ahead of time for how my voice comes through in this reading. This message is centered around someone who is in opposition to you. They are an enemy, a foe. They are hostile. They are unfriendly. They're just a downright op. Now, to further understand them, they are a Queen of Wands. In this situation, they are absolutely a Queen of Wands in reverse. Let me just say, in order to be a king or a queen of an element, this means that you have mastered that element so much so that you can rule over it. If you are a queen or a king in reverse, this means instead of mastering an element, you are abusing the element. So I'm going to give you a few. Listen, we got a lot of ops, a lot of enemies, and a lot of foes. So I really want to go into this person's character so that you don't miss them. I want you to know exactly who this is. So to be called a Queen of Wands in this reading, but to be in reverse, this is somebody that carries the element of fire, but they abuse it. How do you know they abuse? First of all, fire creates, it purifies, and it destroys. And so because of the way this person carries the element of fire, they are going to bring a lot of destruction. But this reading almost describes you as some type of spiritual Viking. A Queen of Wands in reverse, in temperament, in characteristics and traits. This is somebody who is notoriously jealous and envious. They're afraid to take risks. They're never truly honest with themselves, and they lack self-confidence. When I say that they abuse the element of fire, that type of energy that flows through them, this is going to manifest as them being dominating, restless. They have angry behavior. They're volatile and they're destructive to themselves and others. Very egotistical. They have an excessive need for attention. They are uncomfortable being alone and they thrive being the center of attention. At times you may say that they are overly enthusiastic or even manic. Right? They often leave themselves exhausted, depleted. They have a deep crash after being hyperactive in a manic state or just over expanding themselves. Okay. So I'm talking about this type of op, that one specifically. This reading's about them. Okay. So y'all, if you've been talking to me for a while, y'all remember when I was going through my Viking era, Netflix and HBO Max. I had them both in a headlock and I was specifically watching, ODing, and obsessing about any series that dealt with the time period where the Vikings were it, right? So because this person abuses the element of fire, I kind of got an image, and the image that I'm going to describe, it actually took place in two shows that I watched. So I've watched The Last Kingdom and I've also watched literally the show called The Vikings. So in season 5 of The Last Kingdom and in season 3 of The Vikings, there were situations where someone had to carry hot iron, right? Now, I don't know if I'm going to remember this correctly, but in one situation, I feel like there was a Christian missionary who was supposed to carry the iron in order to prove that their God was the God, right? And so if you carry this iron, and I believe that after you carry the hot metal, whatever wounds are on your hands as a result of carrying this, you have 3 days to heal. And if your hands do not heal within 3 days, it means that your God, whatever you serve, is not it. There's something bigger than it because it was not able to come through and heal you. So if you are unhealed, you're going to get killed. But if you start to show signs of healing and growth and recovery, your life will be spared. So you are a spiritual Viking all the way through and through. You have somebody that's a wannabe. What did they say the greatest form of flattery is somebody who copies you, who mimics you. So this Queen of Wands, this type of enemy really wants to be you. They want to be the Viking that you are. Now, A divine test is what I would call being forced to carry hot iron. A divine test is described as a situation that is orchestrated by a higher power to assess, refine, and grow a person's character, faith, and loyalty. In order for you to be a spiritual Viking, you have had to have gone through and experienced many divine tests. This type of enemy is somebody who's been close enough to you to watch you fall and get up, fall and get up. I mean, divine test after test after test. And you are raising in rank like the type of Viking that you are, man or woman. You are going to be a leader. You are going to be a leader of many, because of what you have been able to conquer, what you've been able to make it through. And you got this enemy who just wants the power. They want the accolades, y'all, but they are unfit to go through the type of test. So let's imagine that this person has decided, you know what? This reading is really centered around suffering. In one of my handmade decks, I have a card that talks about the noble truth, number 4. This is the truth about the path to cessation, which means every human living is going to experience suffering. There's no way around it. Suffering will come to us mentally, emotionally, physically, psychologically, spiritually. We will all experience all of them, or at least one or a few of them. It is a part of the human condition. And the way to end the suffering, the path, the truth that you must adhere to in order to no longer suffer as a human, is to essentially stop craving shit. Stop desiring things. This is about this path, the don't laugh at me, don't get mad at me. The fourth noble truth is called MAGA, but it's got 2 G's. MAGGA. I don't feel no kind of way about nothing. I don't talk about politics. But this is MAGA, right? And so in order to end suffering, the only way to do that, the fourth truth says, is to take the eightfold path. You are a spiritual warrior because you have taken the eightfold path. That means there are 8 things that you have mastered. You've gone down 8 paths in your life. You've experienced suffering, but then you've corrected some type of energy, practice, behavior, something. So let me just break down the eightfold path. This Queen of Wands decided to pick up hot iron. Hot iron. In order to declare that whatever they were serving, they too were fit to pass a divine test, just as you were. You're a spiritual Viking. They want to be a spiritual Viking. They are spiritually unfit, but you are the fittest of them all. And so this person almost essentially decides that I'm going to pick up this iron. And when I say pick up this iron, this person picked up an idea. They picked up a project, an agreement, a contract, a plan. They picked up a thought, a habit, a behavior. Whatever it was supposed to conquer you. It was supposed to out-Viking you, right? Which is absolutely impossible. So there's a certain level of delusion that this type of enemy is also battling, right? And so when they pick up the hot iron, they know without a shadow of a doubt that I am going to go through this suffering. They know that shit is hot. They know that whatever this plan, whatever this path, whatever they chose, they knew that it would come with a little bit of kickback. You know, sometimes you shoot a gun. I've only shot a gun a few times. It was a shotgun. But you know how there's this recoil, it's going to kick. This person understood that when I pick this up, when I do this thing, I'm going to feel the aftermath of this. But I'm prepared to feel it because I know what's at the end. They knew that at the end, they were going to be the Viking that you were. And so whatever they had to endure when carrying the hot iron, they were like, it's okay. Y'all, there is one thing that I've been dying to say. Listen. Imagine this person carrying the hot iron, but everybody in the Viking community knows that this person is not performing a divine test, right? They are the cause of their own suffering. There is nothing that they are going to get at the end of this that's any different than the suffering they've been through. There's no reward, right? But this is wanting to go through what you went through and to come out like you, but not recognizing that their God was desire. Their God was the craving. They feel like, I want this thing so bad. I want this thing to work. I need this thing to come through to me. And so I am going to endure whatever I have to endure. But their God isn't the Most High. Their God is whatever they desire to be on the other end. So they've been carrying hot iron, burning, blistering, dealing with what that feels like in their own life, willingly, loyally, and faithfully, hoping to get to the place that you arrive to in your life. Somehow you make suffering look easy. Somehow you make suffering look pretty. And so somebody wants to be the badass that you are, a spiritual Viking. But essentially they've gotten a fake ID, like their own ego and their own delusion has printed up a fake ID, so to speak. We get fake IDs. The main reason is because we're underage and we want access to something that we ain't got no business dealing with. And so this is you being a spiritual Viking with a whole ass divine license that you earned. That shit will not expire. But then you have somebody out here who abuses the element of fire. They're drunk on their own destruction, but they feel like it's worth it because I'm going to get what you got at the end of what you went through. But they got a fake ID that their ego printed. And so they have underage access. They're walking around in the spiritual world in their own mind, thinking that they're contending with you. You know what I'm saying? But your ID is fake because you created that. The Most High didn't give you that. You've never been through a divine test. You've only been dealing with the outcome of your own suffering. You are you understand, okay. So that's what this reading is giving me. And so this is about an enemy, a foe, a Queen of Wands in reverse who is bandaged and fucked up. They are finally at the point, like the tension is so thick in their own life. Y'all, they are their own worst enemy. This person could have been fighting you for however long. You may not have ever have done anything back spiritually, physically, verbally. You may not have done a thing. And anything that they've endured, it's really by their own hand. Y'all, sometimes, I think I said this, but the element of fire, it can manifest as some type of psychological issue. So anyway, the tension in this Queen of Wands life, it says, listen, the longer you hold on, the hotter it is. Like you can absolutely put the iron down. If we were in the crowd watching this person carry hot iron in order to prove that this was a divine test that they were fit to pass and it wasn't their own delusion, we would all be like, I know you fucking lying. Girl, boy, if you don't put that iron down and stop playing. Like, they're waiting to get to the end. And I think that in the show, when you pick up this iron, you have to take a certain amount of steps before you can put it down. And so if you die or if you cave before you get to the certain steps, you ain't who you say you are. But if you get to the right marker, well, then you got 3 days for your body to respond in a way that is supernatural. So everybody in the crowd is like, I can't believe they picked that up. Now, don't they know, right? Like that's the energy. You could know somebody, feel somebody kind of doing this in your energy and be like, if they don't stop, like you're still doing that dumb shit, right? Somebody who's just totally lost. But this reading says that the tension is so thick that this person may recognize that, time is of the essence. I've been doing this for a long time and it's only gotten hotter. My burns, my wounds have only gotten deeper, right? Like, so time is running out. Something is different about the way they are your enemy, the way they oppose you. They're feeling something a little different. And the only way they can end their suffering based on the noble truth number 4 is by living ethically, by practicing meditation, by developing wisdom, by achieving enlightenment. How do you do all those things? The eightfold path. I'm going to give you all 8 steps right now. In the event the Queen of Wands in reverse is listening, okay? Free therapy for you. In order to end your suffering, which is caused by your craving, the fact that you desire something so much, you either desire to have something or experience something that you have not experienced, or you desire for something to maintain itself. You want something to stay the same. You don't want nothing to change. But the only way to end the suffering, the only way to not feel the heat and to endure the burns of that hot iron is to let go of the iron, to let go of the craving and the desire. Whatever you thought you were going to get by picking up this iron, you're not going to get it. And the only way to come back from this, I have a handmade card. It didn't come out in this reading. But the card says something like, if you get on the wrong train, the longer you stay on that train, the more it will cost you in fare. Because you got to pay to go back home. But if you go far outside of the city, you got to pay in order to get back to the inner city, right? So if you recognize you're on the wrong train, get off quickly, because you'll pay less. Well, this is somebody who wanted to ride it as long as possible because their delusion convinced them that this was the way. So the tension in this person's life is so thick because they essentially put all of their eggs in this basket. They were supposed to be able to carry this hot iron to a certain place, endure a certain amount of pain only to be healed after a certain amount of time, and then experience some type of Viking celebration. This is like the Viking championships, but in this person's mind. But their ID is fake. Their ID was created by their ego and not the divine, not the Most High. So this is like a volcano being almost erupting in this person's life. They have no time left. They are either going to continue to hold this hot iron or they're going to put this shit down, right? Whatever they thought this was going to give them, whatever promise was at the end of this, it turns out that all this shit is a fluke, right? This is a fluke. But you have fucked up yourself in every way. So let me get back to the eightfold path. Here it is. I'm going to say it as it is, and then I'm going to describe what each one of those 8 paths means. So, right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and lastly, right concentration. Now, what does that shit mean? Right view means thinking kindly. Right intention means I mean to be good. Like I'm not good by accident. Like I literally mean to be good. Right speech, using kind words. Right livelihood, working to help others. Right effort, trying your best. Right mindfulness, paying attention, being aware, being present, being the moment, not being lost in your own fantasy. Finally, right concentration, calming your mind, not operating, not responding, and not acting from a place of elevation, right? When you act and you just send your fire out, but you haven't had time to calm your spirit and to settle yourself, that is when destruction takes place. But the only suffering that you endure is by your own hand. Y'all, this is your enemy. And so right now, your enemy, I have insight. Your enemy is gaining insight. They're like, oh, this is like an aha moment. Finally, they've gotten a piece or a fruit of wisdom. In order to have insight, you must keep a learning attitude. Insight is the class that never ends. It's the class that never ends. You got to be ready for the next assignment, the next lesson, the next message. And you don't know when it's coming. There's no syllabus attached to the class of insight. Okay? So you just got to be ready. You stay ready so you don't got to get ready. And then spirit drops it in you. And so somebody has gotten a spirit drop. And they're like, oh my God, if I don't put this down, this is going to end in a way that I really cannot return or come back from. But this person is literally damaged. For anybody that has that intuitive Kev Kipperish deck, the opposition card, they got a sling on. Their hair is in kind of like a messy side ponytail. They got a black eye that's swollen shut, right? Like body all banged up. And the physical body or the image on this card could represent what somebody's life looks like overall. And so if you release the craving, you drop the iron, you cut up the fake ID that you allowed your mind to build and create for you. If you do all of those things and then get on the 8 steps and start practicing, right? The eightfold path, where does it take you? If I take this path, where am I going to end up? Nirvana, divine alignment. Divine alignment. That's where it takes you. So those 8 steps are literal things that you practice. You have to put them in place. The craving doesn't end. The desires don't go away because you want them to, because you tell them to. You have to counter the desire with something right. Capiche? I love y'all so much. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.